How did you recruit LeBron to get him to convince him to come to Miami?
Get some more of this. I ain't recruit LeBron. I didn't recruit LeBron. What do you mean?
I mean, so how'd you get him to come to Miami? Because I know Pat Riley ain't recruited.
No, well, no, that ain't recruit. I would just say,
what did you tell him? What did you tell LeBron?
He said, what did you tell him?
You told him something. You told him something. You made him some promises or something.
No, I didn't. I don't think no one would ever believe how all this happened.
Well, tell us.
No, well, it's going to be hard because it's going to take multiple people to tell you.
Okay.
Because I have a perspective, LeBron has a perspective.
Well, since you here, I ask LeBron next time I get him here. Or when I get him here, I'm going to ask him his perspective. But you give us how it played out to you.
How it played out to me was, once again, as I started off, is we, as stars in this league, you're determined and you're picked on or you're lifted up by the championships you win.
Yes.
And so you got a young player like LeBron who he knows what he needs to do to be at the level that he is today.
Right.
And so he knew at that time that he couldn't probably do it there.
Right.
Right, at that moment.
Right.
And so enter, what can I do it at? Who can I do it with?
Right.
Previous years before that, we all signed the same contract so we can give ourselves flexibility. Not saying, hey, we're going to play together in the next 3 years, but hey, let's give ourselves flexibility. And so that flexibility was like, oh shit, D-Wade a free agent? Oh, Chris Bosh a free agent? So everyone started thinking different around that time.
Right.
And for me, it wasn't real until we got a call from my agent got a call from the Miami Heat. And they let us know that they actually put money aside or they can figure out a way to get 3 max players. Because at first it was just 2 max players.
Mm-hmm.
So the conversation changed when the Miami Heat made that call to say we can get 3 max players. And then LeBron and I got on the phone. And I just leave it at that. It's a lot of things that happen.
Okay.
And so then we got on the phone. And we got on the phone because LeBron called and said, hey, let's get on the phone. Just like we did 3 years prior to that. LeBron, my agent, Henry Thomas, his agent at the time, Leon Rose, we got on the phone. We talked about the contract situation. We talked about the 5-year deal versus the 3-year deal, the benefits. At that time, we were working together because we were all new at this.
Right.
We young dudes who friends.
Wow.
So we were working together and like, yo, you're 20, you're this age, you'll be this age when that deal is up. You older, you need the shorter deals so you can get more money. Like, this is how we were talking.
Right.
We were young guys, but we had a different view on things. And so we kept talking throughout the process. And when free agency came, we had another conversation. And that conversation led to, we could do what? We could play together. And it just went from there.
Even though they say we got a deal for 3 max contracts, did you think this was could this be a reality? Could this be realistic?
No. We didn't see it at that time.
Right.
We didn't see, especially players, free agents, guys, 3 guys that go to team up. Where was they doing that at?
No.
A team had to go get an older agent superstar or someone else and package them together and they all play together.
That's what they did with the Celtics when they got Garnett, with Paul Pierce.
Or you got lucky, you drafted some guys, and some guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you get Kareem and Magic. Kareem's there. He wins the regular season MVP. They drafted Magic, and then 2 years later, they James Worthy with the first.
There you go.
How that happen? How the hell you win the finals and then you get your first pick in the draft?
You know what I'm saying? Different time back then. As we seen on winter time, they were doing coin flips and all that in the back. Yeah. Like, it was different. So, like, I never imagined, and I don't know if people believe me, I never thought LeBron and I would play together. I had a meeting with the Miami Heat about this 2 years before we ever played together.
Right.
Do you think? And I was like, 0.00001% chance that we would ever play together.
Right.
Right? And because there was a lot of conversations out there.
Right.
And I never thought it was until I sat with him face to face and I seen that it wasn't about scoring titles no more for him. It wasn't about all the things that, the commercials and the MVPs and all the things he had. He had that, but he was still empty inside. Mm-hmm. And he wanted and needed something else for his career.
Right.
And me being one of his good friends, me being one of the best players in the league, me being a free agent at the same time, me being in a nice city at the same time, it was attractive and it was sexy. And so we had an opportunity to sit down and talk about it.
What did you think when you heard LeBron say not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7?
Yeah, I didn't take it serious. Anybody out there who took that serious, like, come on, guys, like we having a parade.
Right. Your fans, that's what media, got the fans hype,
we in there with our fans.
Right.
You don't know, like, we in there talking.
Right.
Not 1, Not, you know what I mean? We jacking. We doing what we do. We in the crib with our homies. You know how you put a little sauce on your story?
Yeah, you add a little bit to it. You add a little sauce
too. That's what he did. He had a little sauce, you know what I mean? And then that sauce became, we gonna hold him to it. That's all. Like we never say we about to win 7 straight, but we knew we was gonna be a problem.
The big three, the hate and the vitriol you got.
Yeah, it was nasty.
Have you ever seen anything like it before or since?
Not in that way. I actually never seen hate. I heard about hate.
Right.
Heard about it from my ancestors.
Yeah.
You know, stories about my ancestors.
Right.
Heard about it from my mom, my dad,
Right.
my uncles. Never seen hate until LeBron decided to come to Miami.
Right.
Then I started seeing hate up close. And hate is an ugly thing. And so it was for us, man, like I think a part of us didn't understand. Like we're still young men.
Right.
Who are playing this game of basketball. We're boys. We traveling, playing together. Our kids get to grow up together. Like, we're excited about this. And then on the outside, everybody in the world is calling us all these things.
Right.
And so it wasn't a joyous year to play basketball at all. Right. And I think that was the one thing coming out of that year, even though we lost in it. And I always say one of the best things that happened to us is that we lost in the finals. One of the best things that happened to us media-wise is that we lost in the finals. Because if we'd have won in the finals of 2010, we was going to be jacking.
Right.
It was nothing no one was going to be able to say to us. Right. We were going to be too, and so it humbled us. It put us at our level, and it allowed us to focus on what was real and why we got together.
It was reported that you guys all went away. You, I think Melo, I think Chris Paul, and LeBron, and all your families went away, and you had a conversation with LeBron about, it's okay, bro.
It's okay,
bro. I need you to be you.
No, I mean that's not how it happened.
How it happened? Tell us how it happened.
Well, first of all, it wasn't a CP and it wasn't Melo.
Okay.
It was the trip that everyone's talking about was just my wife, Savannah, LeBron, and a couple other friends of ours.
Okay.
And that was the trip where we started having different conversations. That was right after we lost. We had a couple weeks away, and then we had this trip plan, and we started having different conversations about why we lost, how we lost.
Right.
And I just was sitting there, as I always do. I sit and I listen, and I heard LeBron talk. And everything that I was getting from LeBron in that year, even though he had a great year, and even in that moment, was still hesitation. And so for me, I was like, okay, if we're going to reach the level that we're going to reach, and how I can help us, is to take that hesitation out of one of the game's greatest players. Because I've watched him play.
Right.
And I know how he plays when he has no, I shot 2 in a row. D-Wade ain't having a good game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's human nature.
Right.
Hey, D-Wade ain't had a bucket in a while. No, bro, press on. You that dude. Go be that dude. Wow. We gonna do what we gotta do to make sure that you good and we good. Because this is ultimately about what we all sat down and said we want to do. We said we want to win rings.
Right.
No one said that I need an extra endorsement or you needed extra this. We wanted to win rings. So for us to win rings in this day of age, you have to be who you are. And that's, besides Kobe, it's the game's greatest player.
Right.
And so I can't stand in the way of that. I can't let my ego and my pride stand in the way of that. And I said I was doing it in the beginning, but it was always like, hey, first year I think we both averaged 25 a game. It was kind of even. Same shots, same this, same possessions. Coach don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about that. I've always played around multiple players. I figured out. And that was our conversation. And it happened after the trip.
Right.
It happened in the gym one day.
Right.
It was LeBron, Coach Fizdale, and myself.
Right.
And I told him right there, I just remember the look on his face. He was kind of like puzzled, looking at me like,
you for real?
And I was, but at that point, I'm saying like it had to be bigger than me, which was hard to do because we all come in like, check the name on the back.
Right.
But I just had to look at myself in the mirror and say, this is not why you playing with LeBron James and Chris Bosh. Right. You're not playing with them to check the name on the back. You're playing with them to check the rings on your finger.
Correct.
And so let's get to that.
What happened in the Mavs series? Y'all better.
We got
shit, where you looking? I might well go and poke me a little bit.
I mean, we got outplayed and we got outcoached. And if you go back and ask the players, you go back and ask Spo, the coaching staff got outcoached and the players got outplayed when it came down to winning. We didn't close out games. right? We
Because
had
one game you had a 16-point lead.
game 2 at home. We up 15.
Yeah.
You don't lose that. We don't close our games, but that's bad. That's players and that's coaches, right? And so we got out coached by Rick Carlisle and his staff, and we got out played by Dirk and Jason Terry and
J.
that
Kidd,
that J. Kidd, but that little
Beret.
JJ Barrera. Nobody give him credit. JJ Barrera was the one who changed the. We didn't have no answer for him. Okay, Dirk, you know what you gonna do. Let's just make his shots tough, make it hard on him. He try to make him not shoot 50%, make him have an off night, but he's still gonna get 20. Jason Terry going right, you can't stop him. Right? We knew all these things. But no one planned for little JJ to come off the bench and do what he did.
Right.
And I look at it and I say not from an MVP as an award, but from an MVP as a player who really helped push that series over, I give it to JJ because we didn't have no answer for him.
Wow.
And so we, as a team, like obviously LeBron struggled. We talk about the average 17 points a game.
Yeah.
Players struggled.
Right.
And what sucked about it is because of everything that was talked about and all this. But at the end of the day, me as a leader, Spo as a head coach, we got to do a better job to make sure that he's not struggling.
Right.
How are we getting him the ball in certain places to make it easier for him?
Right.
Because as a player, all you need is one thing to go your way and to turn everything around.
Right.
We didn't do enough of that for a guy who was struggling. For whatever the reason is, we all have had our struggles.
Right.
And so as a leader, I looked at it myself. I was like, you didn't do enough, D. And you will see a clip where I'm cursing Brian out. I'm in his ear. I'm talking to him. But that probably wasn't the way I should have done it. Or maybe I should have done something else.
Right.
And so we were more talented, but they were a better team.
Pat Riley, I saw Pat Riley say something that players came in his office and demanded that he fired the coach. It was reported, you and...
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you didn't do that?
I don't remember doing it. Now, I'm not saying I didn't, but I don't remember doing that.
Right.
I knew Coach Spo at that time. He was 2 years in. The one thing is when LeBron decides to talk about everything on his documentaries or whatever he decided to do, he would talk about what we talked about Riley as a coach versus Spo as a coach.
Right.
In our meeting before we even played together. And one thing I told him, you don't want Riley to coach this team. It ain't got nothing to do with Pat. Love him. You don't want Riley to coach this team, bro. And even though Spo was not experienced, and we needed a coach that was experienced so we can win championships right away, we're gonna help him grow.
You didn't want Riley.
No, you don't want Godfather to come down. He did it in 2006. I experienced it. Right. That was enough.
And now we won. And you ready for him to go back upstairs?
Yeah, I'm ready for him to go back upstairs.
What do you think? What do you think Pat saw in Eric with Coach Spo to say, you know what? Nope, this is the guy. He can get it done. Well, and he's turned himself into one of the best coaches in the NBA.
Well, if you see, that's once again why you don't listen to players at times. Because if you listen to me when they first hired Spo, I was like, what are you doing? This is the wrong decision. Like I remember when Mickey and Nick Harrison sat me down and said, "Hey, we're bringing up Spo from the, like Spo was in the video room and then he sat behind the bench and they was like, hey, we're gonna hire from within and it's gonna be Eric Spoelstra." And I was like, Spoelstra? I'm looking for a big name coach, baby. I'm a star. I'm like, who we got? We gonna get Doc? Who we gonna get? Right. And I knew Spo. I had a great relationship with Spo because Spo would work me out. He was my workout guy. Right. So I liked Spo, but I didn't know Spo as a coach. And so when he first got there, he was a terrible coach, but he was a great guy to prepare you. He was going to work his ass off. No one was going to outwork him. No one was going to be more prepared than him. He just had to learn when to call timeouts, what plays to run out of timeouts, what late game, like all these things that you got to learn as a coach. As a star player, I had to go through it with coach. And that's why our relationship is what it is today, because we went through this, We went through thank you, this. We went through all of it because the journey, of a young coach. And so that whole we walked in and tried to get him fired, I don't know if I was in that meeting. But maybe I was, I don't know. I don't remember that. I don't remember trying to get him fired.
LeBron leaving Miami.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a conversation? Did you know he was thinking about leaving Miami? And did you think he'd go back to Cleveland?
I didn't know he was thinking about it right away. I mean, we just had a 4-year run. That was not what I was thinking about. I didn't think Cleveland was on the docket at all. Once that letter came out 4 years prior, I was like, well, it's over for them.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
And so when we went into free agency that summer, I didn't think that we wasn't coming back. I thought we was going to retool. That's what teams do. They retool. And so once I started hearing the noise on the outside and I started hearing Cleveland, I started seeing things, I was like, oh, it's some truth to noise.
Right.
Some truth to noise.
Yeah. There's truth even in a lie.
Yeah, there's something in there. And I didn't even know it was a thing because we never talked about, hey, that was never our conversation.
Right.
And so when I did get the information from him that he was headed back to Cleveland, I took it like I take everything else. I took it on the chin because I'm not a selfish guy. I have selfish acts and selfish moments, but my whole being is not selfish. And so if that's what that man want to do for his life, like, I support him doing it. I just got to now figure out my life because I had a whole different plan for how I wanted mine to go.
Right.
And, one thing I told him in that moment, we were sitting outside the plane. I think even the camera crew might have got us talking because we had just flew back in from Vegas before the announcement was made the next day. And we're sitting out there, and I told him, I said, man, listen, everybody's going to win no matter what you do. If you stay here, we all win. LeBron James stays in Miami, we win. You go to Cleveland, Cleveland's going to win. Ultimately, you got to do what's best for LeBron.
Right.
And so if this is what's best for LeBron James, Savannah James, Bryce, and Bronny, and Zuri wasn't at that stage yet, if this was better for your family, you got if you're looking for blessing from me, you got my blessing.
Right.
Right? I'm not going to hold you back. Now I got to go deal with my side because I had a whole different mentality. I opted out of my deal. I did all these things because I'm like, hey, we retooling.
Right.
And so a lot of people like to say, like, was it a part of me that was a little pissed? Yeah. I'm human.
Right.
I don't want to lose the best player in the game.
Right.
What did we do why did we lose him?
Right.
And also, too, now I got to figure out my future.
Right.
Right? Because I've given up a lot of my stardom and I've given up my place for you to step in and help lead us. And so it took me a while, and Brian and I had a conversation later once before I got to Cleveland about that moment and how I felt, right? Like, and how he felt. We sat down as men and we talked about that moment, and we moved on from it.
That was a difficult time for you because you gave up $20 million that wasn't repaid to you.
Yeah, you don't get money back. Money don't come back, people. You can make more, but you ain't getting that money back.
You ain't gonna get one.
I don't care what nobody tell y'all. You can't recoup that money.
No.